Hi, I'm Lynn Broderick, and I'm here today at RootsTech 2015 with David Rencher, Chief Genealogical Officer for FamilySearch. Hi, David.
Great to be with you, Lynn.
I'd like to know, for those who are brand new to genealogy, what is the Chief Genealogical Officer?
It's a great question, and it's one I'm often asked. As the Chief Genealogical Officer at FamilySearch, I'm in charge of ensuring that there is genealogical integrity in our products and services. In other words, do they behave and act like you would expect them to do, and that they have good, sound genealogical practice behind them. We have a lot of developers, a lot of people who may have come into the industry without genealogical background and that type of thing. And so it's interesting that we just kind of try to do a double check and say, okay, this makes sense. This is the way it should work. And we hope that we can continue to improve our products and services over time.
Well, very good. What about the family tree? How are we progressing in that? What kinds of improvements do you see? It's evolving. Almost every time you log on, there's something new.
I'm glad you asked. A family tree is growing in an incredible rate. The thing that I'm most pleased about is that people are attaching sources to their conclusions, and that there is a lot of evidence going on there. We are attaching millions of sources to the tree. We currently have, I believe, 1.3 billion names in the family tree, so it too is growing. We've got hundreds of thousands of users who are participating and adding content to the tree. Every day the thing just grows at an incredible rate.
What about users, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints can have their LDS account, and then you also have those of us who are those who are friends to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. What is the differential as far as percentage of participants?
Great question. I think that I don't have exact figures on it, but the last I saw, it's probably 4-to-1 friends of the church who are adding content to the tree. So there are a lot of members of the church, obviously, that already had information that was gleaned from other sources to pre-populate the tree. Mm-hmm. But we have a lot of people who are not members of the LDS Church who are adding content to the tree at an incredible rate.
That's wonderful. Now you have other duties as well, and you're very involved in the societies.
I am.
Please tell me more about that.
Well, basically, as a member of the genealogical community at large, I'm both an accredited and a certified genealogist, and so I get to do a lot of conferences. RootsTech is a great example, of course. Many duties here, but I also get to speak at other seminars around the world. It's kind of fun. And so I interact a lot with the genealogical community because of my role at FamilySearch. If they see something in one of our products or services that concerns them, a lot of times they'll bring those concerns to me, and I'm able to pass them to the right person within the organization to improve the product.
That's wonderful. Now tell me a little bit more. You are wearing the Preserve the Pension vest, and we know that the War of 1812, we have a lot of documents that we were trying to become digitized. Tell me more about your involvement. We know that Ancestry is matching.
Ancestry is matching, and we are so grateful to them for that. They're actually playing a couple of key roles in that. Several years ago, the National Archives and Records Administration in Washington, D.C., NARA, came to the Federation of Genealogical Societies and said, these records need to be preserved. Over 180,000 pensions of War of 1812 participants, and it turned out that that was 7.2 million pages of records. And so we said, what are you estimating the cost at? And they said it will be approximately $3.4 million that we'll need to raise to preserve those images.
Wow.
But we all agreed that we wanted them to be free, and we all agreed that if the community could come together and raise that money, it would be a really great thing. And so we set about to do just that. The Federation took on the lead role to make the project happen, and we worked at that time with a partner with Fold 3. Fold 3 since then was acquired by Ancestry. Ancestry very generously agreed to match dollar for dollar for the donations that were being raised. And so I'm pleased to report that as of this RootsTech, we're over halfway to our goal of raising the $3.4 million to preserve the pensions. We've been posting them for free online on the Fold 3 website. Now that's a paid website, but those images are free, and the pensions are arranged alphabetically. And so we've posted the pensions with the letters A through M. And so we're making great progress. And like I say, we really hope that we could close out the fundraising this year if possible.
That's exciting. So tell me, a new person coming into genealogy and they want to make a donation, What is the best way for them to do that? Do they directly send that money to FGS, or is there another way?
They can send it, if they want to do it by mail, they can send it to the Federation mailing address. The best way is just to go on to the Preserve the Pensions website, which you can find on Google, and at preservethepensions.org, and make an online donation.
Okay, because I've been hearing that it is possible if your local societies, and let's talk about the benefits of having a local society and what new genealogists can benefit from. Some of the local societies and state societies are actually matching funds, and then they turn them over to Ancestry, and then somehow you quadruple.
Then we match those, right.
So is that a good way to go?
It's a great way to go. If your local genealogical society is doing a matching campaign, donate to that society, and then that society will send that donation in, and that will be matched by Ancestry. So $1 turns into $4 very easily, and
That's
so
very
it's
nice.
a great way to go.
Do you know how many societies there are?
There are 600 member societies of the Federation.
Okay.
We've probably had, probably now approaching 20 different societies that have really stepped up and done some significant matching campaigns, anywhere from $1,000 to $20,000.
Wow.
So there are some really gung-ho leaders out there in societies, and they're just doing a fabulous job.
Well, that sounds wonderful. And the best thing about it is that those documents will then be preserved. I understand there's only one copy of them, and for future generations, we're going to have them digitally available and preserving that part of history.
They'll be preserved. Fold 3's indexing them. Of course, we can use also the zoning software with Fold 3 and index other names within the pension. It's a fabulous tool.
Oh, sounds wonderful. Now let me ask you another question for beginning genealogists, and I'm kind of focused on them. You know, they come to FamilySearch, they'll come to Ancestry, they'll come to the partners.
Right.
And they go there, then sometimes they'll recognize other aspects of genealogy. But what can a new genealogist who has talked to their family, looked on Ancestry, what does their local society have to offer?
So local societies very often can help beginners start, because sometimes you just don't know what to do next. And a lot of these local genealogy societies have beginner programs where they can sit down with you and they can say, okay, here's what you need, and then here's where the trail leads. And so with this piece of information, you do this. Many of our beginners have watched many of the television shows right now on family history, and they say, well, how does all that happen behind the scenes? You know, they see a host on the show saying, and let us tell you about your great-great-grandfather. Well, local genealogical societies can help you find those kinds of records that will tell you the story about your family.
That's wonderful. Now we need to wrap up this interview. So what final words would you have to share with beginners and introducing genealogy to someone who may not have maybe seen a show or heard about it, or heard about AJ's campaign for I'm a Cousin?
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
Yeah, AJ Jacobs hosting the world's largest family reunion on the 6th of June in New York City. It's a fabulous event. And you know, it's one that's aimed at beginners. And I think beginners just have to overcome the fear of just starting. Start with what they know. You know, the largest genealogical asset on the planet is living memory, and every beginner has living memory that they can add to the picture and their pieces to the puzzle. So really, it's just all about jumping in and starting to record what they know.
Very good. Now I understand you're speaking at that event, and it will take place on June 6th of 2015 in New York City. We're going to have satellite conferences, reunions, and I believe one's going to be held here in Salt Lake at the Family History Library?
One will be held at the Family History Library here in Salt Lake City, as well as many other places around the country.
Very good. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you taking this opportunity to come and visit with us, and then and good luck with the Preserve the Pensions. Hopefully we'll meet that goal by the end of 2015.
Great. Thank you, Lynn.
Okay, thanks.